In the last video, we touched on the medical effects of COVID-19, how it spreads, and some of the basic CDC and state guidelines. However, there are a ton of issues that have come up with these new protocols. People have lost work, they feel isolated, and plenty of other problems we'll be talking about later. What does this mean for us, and how do we respond to these problems?
I'm kind of stuck. So I've been unemployed since March 28th. Well, furloughed, I guess, is what they're calling it. It's essentially like being laid off, but I haven't been fired from the company. They're just not letting me work.
Many college students across Oregon and Washington have reduced hours or have been laid off entirely. For students who've lost work, many are at a loss for school expenses amongst other expenses.
When I was working before, I was working 30 to 40 hours a week, picking up shifts at other stores and, just making sure I always had cash, right? And now I have to apply for those unemployment benefits that we were talking about every week. And some of the other jobs that I've been applying for, if I were to get, I may not be able to get the 30 to 40 hours a week. It may only be 15 to 20. So right now, I'm making half of what I was making before. So I really have to get creative with what I'm doing. I've had to cut out a lot of different expenses and things like that. I don't have any hobby money anymore.
Communicate with your advisors and see what help can be available to you. You'll never know if you don't ask. Both Washington and Oregon have revised requirements for unemployment during this pandemic as well. So if you think you've lost hours or work and don't think you qualify, apply anyways, assuming the websites are working. On the other side of things, some students have been working away during this pandemic as essential workers.
As an essential worker, I'm not a police officer, I'm not a nurse or a doctor or any of those people. They are in a league of their own. I can attest to that. My sister-in-law is an ICU nurse. But as a retail worker, it's you have to deal with a whole bunch of different personalities that are in panic mode, and a lot of them are not making logical decisions.
These students come into contact with people daily, and while guidelines have been made in stores to try and keep people safe, you truly can't force someone to follow them.
We have had an increase in thefts. Normally when it comes to thefts at our store, it's about 2 every month or so. And we've been having now at least about 5 every day. We've actually had one time at 5 in an hour, 12 in a day. We can't even stock shelves anymore. The demand is too high and there's no supply. When it comes to actually being in the store, we're no longer making sure the shelves look good. We're no longer stocking. We're monitoring around the different shelf lines just to make sure that one person is not taking 5 different light bulbs and putting it in their bag. You see the worst in people when you work in this environment.
If you're working during this pandemic, do your best to keep healthy. Wash your hands regularly, stay away from people if you can, wear a mask if you've got one. It helps protect your customers and you, so why not? Also, know your limits. If you have been given plenty of extra hours and have a hard time managing classes, communicate with your instructors and supervisors if you feel comfortable. You gotta take care of yourself, treat yourself if you will. Another added struggle for students right now is managing online classes. Many students have found added pressure and added stress. Some speculate that this is from butt-in-chair syndrome. To put it simply, instructors aren't seeing you work, so they may equate this for you doing less, giving you more work. But we're going to speculate that many students are simply overwhelmed, having to manage their lessons and time much more independently. You may find yourself with an abundance of work from classes with nothing but a syllabus and a few deadlines to shine your way through a tunnel of procrastination. Or maybe your instructors are very organized and give you detailed lesson plans. Nonetheless, we have some tips here that should help you. Sort out your top 3 tasks. Each week, write out your most important top 3 tasks that have to happen. A good way to figure this out is to ask yourself what the deadline for each task is and the consequences if you don't get it done. Some of these may not be school related, and that's perfectly fine. When you finish a task, pat yourself on the back and add another task to replace it. Eat an elephant. No, don't actually eat an elephant, they're endangered. What I mean is, if you were to eat an elephant, you wouldn't try to eat the whole thing at once like some overconfident python. You'd break it into manageable, bite-sized pieces. That's what this odd proverb means. If you have a big task, break it up into small, manageable parts with different deadlines. Logically, it's much easier to do a smaller task than a larger task, so make your larger tasks into several smaller ones. Write it down. If it has a deadline, it should be written down somewhere. If you keep everything in your head, you risk forgetting, and over time you'll get stressed out. It doesn't have to be fancy or some sort of trendy bullet journal or planner. You can use sticky notes or a simple notepad. Just write it down and check it every night. Without classes and classrooms, many people's social lives have dwindled for obvious reasons during this pandemic. Worry not, there are many ways you can keep contact with your friends and maintain social distancing. Host a remote movie party with NetflixParty.com. It's a free Chrome extension, but you have to have a Netflix subscription to use it. It allows you and your friends to watch Netflix movies at the same time. Discord. Many people are worried about security issues with the popular video application called Zoom. Discord is a good alternative for people with these concerns. It's free, you can create a server on Discord, customize it, video and voice chat with friends, and it's also a great way to chat while gaming together. On that note, play some online games. There are plenty of free games like Scribble.io, a free Pictionary game played by many YouTubers. Crunker.io, for all you first-person shooters out there. For those of you who prefer paid games with a little bit more development, Minecraft. This game has made a very serious comeback in recent years and has stuck around because of its creative nature. Plus, the various mod packs can make it a much better experience. Jackbox Party Pack, a series of games where if one person has a pack, people can join for free via room code on Jackbox TV. Rocket League, basically Hot Wheels with soccer. It's a really good time killer. It's important to note that while online platforms are a great method to reconnect and spend time with friends, there has been an increase in cyberbullying and harassment as quarantine carries on. Remember, this disease is not the result of any ethnic group at all, and it's not okay to bully or harass an individual due to their race at all. And even with these platforms, many people still feel isolated and alone. While many may get to spend time with family, some may not have great at-home lives. If you are suffering from mistreatment, depression, thoughts of suicide, we've included hotlines for you to call. There are so many volunteers waiting to hear from you and help. Reach out. Check the links in the description. Remember, quarantine will end at some point. For right now, try to follow the guidelines to the best of your ability. Keep yourself informed and always prioritize your safety. Thanks for watching. See you in next week's video, the last part to this series.